Hey y'all, Red here. Welcome to a very simple Reaper rotation guide. Now, you get the class after you have a class at level 70, and you also start from level 70. As a result, you get all your abilities up to level 70 at once, which can be overwhelming. So I'm here to use your confusion a bit. I'm going to start explaining the ability and the rotation from level 70 to 90, but not by each level, however, only level 70, 80, and 90 rotations. But I do understand that you won't be hitting these milestones anytime soon if you're still doing MSQ. So maybe bookmark or save the video and come back when you do hit the level so it doesn't overwhelm you and mess with your head with abilities you don't even have access to yet. And I also suggest you be in game in front of a dummy while watching this video for a first-time example. Now please understand, most of this rotation will be in an ideal situation, so you will have to compromise here and there depending on the situation. But I hope this video can help you get started. First and foremost, you want to stay behind the target as a melee DPS, as all melee DPS has abilities that has enhanced potency for hitting target from the rear. Now, as a Reaper, your rotation will always start with putting a debuff that's designed on the target, which allows you to deal 10% more damage on the target with your abilities. To apply the debuff, you have two abilities: Shadow of Death for single target and Whirl of Death for AoE or multiple target. Now, you do your 1, 2, 3 rotation with Slice, Vexing Slice, and Inferno Slice. Just follow the glow. And for AoE, Spinning Scythe and Nightmare Scythe. Next, let's talk about your soul gauge. Each of your 1 to 3 rotation, depending on if you're following the combo, will increase your soul gauge by 10. And once you reach level 50, on your soul gauge, you will be able to use two new abilities: Bloodstock and Grim Sweat. Bloodstock is for single target, while Grim Sweat is for AoE in a cone in front of you. Once you use one of these abilities, this will allow you to use another sets of abilities, which are these greenish icons: Gibbet, Gallows, and Guillotine. Gibbet and Gallows are for single target, while Guillotine is for AoE. One use of Bloodstock or Grim Sweat will let you use one of these green sets of abilities. But as you will notice how it glows as hinting on the next combo rotation, but if you happen to use any other damaging abilities, it will cancel it and you won't be able to use it anymore until you cast Bloodstock or Grim Sweat again. But here's another thing: once you use Gibbet or Gallows for the first time, you will notice you have a rotation going among these green abilities, and it changes your Bloodstock ability to whichever rotation you are on. If your next ability in your rotation is Gallows, Bloodstock will change to Unveil Gallows. And if you have Gibbet as your next rotation, it will be called Unveil Gibbet. The only thing it does, it allows you to do more damage, so keep an eye on what you just used and which one will be your next, so you can do your most possible damage. Now you have two other abilities that will give you 50 soul gauge immediately, which are Soul Slice for single target and Soul Scythe for AoE. You should always use them as soon as they're off cooldown. So your final rotation will be Shadow of Death or Whirl of Death twice for good measure, Soul Slice or Soul Scythe, Bloodstock or Grim Scythe, Gibbet or Gallows whichever rotation you have, or Guillotine if you have multiple enemies. And then 1 through 3 rotation and repeat. Now that I'm putting it into words, the rotation does look like a bit confusing, so just repeat the video, and I do suggest watch this video while you're practicing along on a dummy in game so you can have a first-hand experience. But that's pretty much it for level 70 starting rotation. Oh, and Harp ability is your range DPS, so while you're waiting to get close to the boss to start your normal rotation, consider spamming that. Next, I'm gonna jump to level 80 rotation. The abilities you will get in between, as I explained level 80 rotation, you will know how to use them as you get them once I'm done. Now the basic rotation stays the same, but you do have quite a few new abilities. First off, you have a party buffer called Arcane Circle, which increases the damage output by 3% for everyone in your party. It has more application past level 80, but we are going to talk about that in a bit. For now, just use it whenever it's off cooldown. And you do get another ability called Gluttony alongside Bloodstock and Grim Sweat, so use it whenever it's off cooldown. It let you use those green sets of abilities twice after one use. Next up, you will get another new gauge alongside your soul gauge called Shroud Gauge. It's the green bar by default. Now, to get Shroud Gauge, you will need to use those greenish abilities, Gribbet, Gallows, or Guillotine. Once you do have 50 Shroud Gauge, you can use your ability Enshroud, which is basically your true Reaper form. While in this form, your green abilities will change to Void Ripping and Cross Ripping for single target and Grim Ripping for AoE. The application of the abilities stays the same, it's just their name and looks, so don't worry about the single target abilities changing to AoEs or vice versa. Oh, and you only have 5 charges indicated by these green orbs. So you just want to transform and do Void Ripping and Cross Ripping if single target, Grim Ripping if AoE, until you're out of charges, and repeat. And that's pretty much it for level 80. So let's start simple. Always before you start combat, have your Soul Soul activated. It turns into Harvest Moon. It's just an instant extra damage, so why not? Next, you're gonna get 3 more abilities in your Reaper form rotation. If you notice, you couldn't use Bloodstock or Grimskite while you're in your Reaper form at level 80, at least until level 85. The reason is they're supposed to change into Lamar's Slice for single target and Lamar's Scythe for AoE. But unlike your normal form where you had to use Bloodstock or Grimskite to be able to use green sets of abilities, here is the opposite. You have to use 2 of the transform green abilities to be able to use one of Lamar's abilities. But you only have 5 charges, so you can use most 2 of them in one rotation in your Reaper form. Now let's backtrack a little and look at the Arcane Circle once again. If you remember, I said it has more application than just simply party buff. Well, now it's time. You will get another ability called Plentiful Harvest, which will give you 50 Shroud Gauge instantly, but only way to use it after you use Arcane Circle and get the stag buff Immortal Sacrifice, which you will get from you and anyone affected by the buff used their abilities. Once you have enough, using it immediately let you enshroud. Now last but not least, you have another ability called Communio, which can only be used in your Reaper form, but it will immediately get you out of enshroud, so the rotation is use your Void Ripping, Cross Ripping, and Lemur Slice twice if single target, Grim Ripping, and Lemur Scythe if AoE twice, and once you have only 1 charge left, use your Communio to finish off the rotation. It has more potency and it's AoE, so you absolutely want to finish with this one. Now I'm pretty sure the class rotation still probably seems a bit confusing, so just take your time to learn the rotation practice and just have fun. Making videos like this takes quite a bit of time and effort, so if it helped you in any way, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more videos like this. And I'll see you guys next time. Until then, keep gaming, gamers.